Yeah, that's right. And it all happened earlier today at this apartment complex right behind me. And police just minutes ago released this picture of a vehicle involved. The last day of witness testimony began with an investigator from the Edinburgh Police Department who showed the jury a videotaped interview that he had conducted with Gonzalez after the collision and from his hospital bed. The good news is that all 11 students who were taken to the hospital as a precaution have now been released, and everyone seems to be doing okay. It was nearly 4 decades ago when Rebecca Grimes lost her brother in a head-on crash just before Thanksgiving. And now she hopes that drivers can help plan when they can this holiday season. So the way that it works is that you use bubble wrap or newspaper to make sure that any items inside of your present are safe and that they don't break. And then after that, you wrap it up and make sure that it's really nice and pretty. And then after that, it's ready for the post office. The business owner says she paid her dues back when she first opened shop in the 70s. But after going through their files, Brownsville's Public Utilities Board says that they have seen no sign of that security deposit and that alone could violate a city ordinance. The Lopez family would make a daily routine of checking Facebook and calling the Palm Valley Animal Shelter in hopes of finding their beloved pet. And tonight, Bentley is home. Lupe, otherwise known as La Unión del Pueblo Entero, made it no secret that they want Valley residents to understand the importance of filling out the census questionnaire. Their main priority is to make sure that the Valley gets counted. Victor Morales was just 11 years old when he lost his 3-year battle with bone cancer a week ago today. Now his school is raising funds to help his family pay for his medical bills and his funeral expenses. Yeah, Christine, the city of Elsa took the challenge to encourage more citizens, not just in their city, but across the valley, to live healthier lifestyles.
Edinburgh police received a call around 7:26 a.m., responding to the 1200 block of North First Avenue at the Lantana Apartments. When officers showed up, they say they found a man with stab wounds. He was taken to the hospital, where he later died. His identity has not yet been released. We spoke to a woman who lives right across from the crime scene. She said she had no idea what was going on until police knocked on her door.
Well, the cops rang my doorbell, and then they said if I knew anything because they were shouting, and I said, well, no. So I came outside, and by the time I knew it, everything was all blocked.
We spoke to Edinburgh police investigator Sarah Rodriguez. She didn't release many details, but she said the police do not believe the community is in any danger.
Right now, we don't have any reason to believe there's any imminent danger for the public, and we are in the search for the suspect.
So far, still no arrests, but police are treating the investigation as a homicide.
And again, here's another look at a picture police released earlier of the vehicle involved. It's a 2006 Chrysler 300 with the Texas license plate of MPN 1630. And police say that the victim's name will be released once next of kin is notified. And we'll be sure to keep you updated with the latest details as soon as it becomes available. But for now, live in Edinburgh, Marisol Villarreal, Channel 5 News at 6.
She established this grocery store about 40 years ago to make ends meet. It's a mom and pop store.
Isidora Villarreal has owned Lolita's grocery store in Brownsville since the 70s. Her daughter, Edna Guajardo, says 2 weeks ago, her mom got a letter from the Brownsville Public Utilities Board saying she needed to pay a $750 security deposit. She says that left both of them confused and upset.
What happened now? I say I paid my security deposit at the inception of this establishment, and now you're saying I did not?
But Glady Quesada, the Senior Communications and Public Relations Coordinator with Brownsville PUB, says that other businesses have also received that same letter in an effort to ensure that all commercial accounts are up to date with the city ordinance, which has been in effect since 1994.
If the business closes, for example, and then that money, that security deposit will be used. Let's say they have 1 month pending. So it's just preparing them for the month ahead.
Yeah. Quesada says that after the PUB recently reviewed all of their commercial accounts, they sent out letters to non-residential service owners, Lolita's grocery store among them. And while Guajardo and her mother both say they paid a security deposit back in the 70s, they have no proof. And Quesada says their records don't show it.
Maybe the way records were kept were a little different, and so with our system, we're just trying to go back and review our accounts, make sure everything's in place, and if someone has a zero balance on their security deposit, meaning never paid a security deposit, we have to comply with the city ordinance and go ahead and request that payment.
Guajardo and her mother have 45 days to make a decision on whether or not they do plan to make this deposit, and Brownsville's PUB says that they are willing to negotiate if needed. In Brownsville, Marisol Villarreal, Channel 5 News at 6. Months of hoping.
Come on.
Then, another reason to celebrate the new year.
We were in the middle of trying to organize hosting a party that evening, and then we get this phone call, and they said, do you recall your pet Bentley? And it was like out of nowhere, and I said, yes, I remember. Well, who is this? This is Palm Valley. We found him.
The Lopez family, heartbroken when their dog Bentley disappeared about 4 months ago. But after a stranger picked him up and took him off the streets,
Oh, he knows the camera.
he found out that he belonged to someone.
He said he had him for about a week or so, and that's when he noticed he belonged to someone, because Bentley does know how to sit, and he does know how to give you paw.
Sit. Give me a paw. Good boy.
And he doesn't go to the restroom inside the house, so he says this belonged to someone.
And once he got to the Palm Valley Animal Shelter, Bentley's homeward bound journey started with his microchip.
You know, there might be a slight pinch. Some animals, a lot of animals don't even know it just happened.
Luis Quintanilla, the shelter manager for the Palm Valley Animal Center, says that it's important to keep your pets microchipped.
It's not going to fall off. No one can take it out, just, by removing a collar. It's forever, and it can help you reunite with your lost pet.
And as a result, Bentley is now safe and back home. La Unión del Pueblo Entero held its census-themed health and informational fair called Tu Salud Cuenta, Cuéntate, which translates to Your Health Counts, Count Yourself. One woman who works closely with the U.S. Census Bureau says it's easier to respond to the census questionnaire today compared to 10 years ago.
And we are able to respond by internet, by phone, and the paper questionnaire.
Census Partnership Coordinator Dr. Mary Jane Garza says the responses to the questionnaire are collected by the Census Bureau to determine how much federal funding is allocated for different counties and cities across the country. Many cities, such as those in the Rio Grande Valley, are underdeveloped and are in need of more public resources like better roads or hospitals.
So we encourage people now to begin responding to the census, because it is a vital instrument that allows us, the Department of Commerce, the U.S. Census, to know exactly how many people are residing in the United States.
One current member of Lupe filled out the census questionnaire for the first time. She says she's glad information is available to the public because 10 years ago, she was not aware of what the census was about.
I was not scared. There was not information as today. And I was living in a colonia when I was married in San Carlos, and that colonia wasn't, well, I didn't hear anything about that.
All census workers take an oath of office that prevents them from sharing any information with others on the responses of the census questionnaire and could face jail time.
The information is confidential. Nothing is divulged in terms of names or phone numbers or anything.
And today, invitations are expected to continue through the 20th of this month. Lupus says that their offices are always open for anybody who might need assistance in filling out or who might have questions on the census questionnaire. In Subcontrol, Marisol Villarreal, Channel 5 News at 6.
To drive the point to students, we don't drive when we've been drinking, when we're under the influence of other things.
The Weslaco Independent School District has teamed up with local first responders, including AirMed South Texas and the police department, to show high school students the consequences of getting behind the wheel after they've been drinking. PRISCILLA CANALES, the superintendent for Weslaco ISD, says the message is important and that it can affect anyone. She says the simulation reminds her of the time she lost one of her friends.
And when I saw the simulation, it reminded me so much of Larry and his shattered dreams. He had so much potential, and we saw a very, very bright future for him, and that was ended by a careless driver.
And although what students and staff witnessed today was staged, a slide like this is what it might look like if somebody decides to drink and also get behind the wheel.
Weslaco Chief of Police Joel Rivera says, unfortunately, drunk driving is not uncommon for the city or for Hidalgo County. He says during certain times of the year, like spring break, police patrol the roads, looking out for teens that might be drinking illegally.
In the state of Texas, any person under the age of 21, any detectable amount is considered driving while intoxicated. So one sip, if a police officer can smell it, you're DWI.
One Weslaco High School senior says he believes messages like these are important for him and his peers. And he has a message for students who didn't attend.
Be careful, think before you do. If you know you're drinking, if you know your friends are drinking, call somebody. Just be safe. Take that extra precaution to live another day.
Weslaco police say that this is the second time they've partnered up with this district to show teens the harsh realities of drinking and driving. They plan to continue making this an annual event. In the studio, Marisol Villarreal, Channel 5 News at 6.
I had to learn to walk.
You had to learn to walk?
Mm-hmm. Because I couldn't, at first I couldn't even get up, so I had to learn how to get up, and I didn't have range of motion.
Gina Guajardo, she was in the other car on that August night in 2018. Her mother, her sister, and her 3-year-old nephew, all killed. She was also badly hurt, and today she told the jury about her injuries, broken ribs and a broken hip among them, and about how hard it remains to this day for her to drive past the crash site.
At first, I would always cry when I was driving, no matter where I was driving. But now I don't cry anymore, but of course, the memory is still always there.
She also told the jury that the situation has been hard to explain to her son, about what happened to his 3-year-old cousin.
It's been hard for him. Now it's like he has anxiety about drugs.
The state claims Gonzalez, 19 at the time, was high on Xanax the night of the crash. The defense countering that he simply fell asleep at the wheel after working a double shift and going on a date. Gonzalez pleading not guilty to the charges. So far, the jury has heard from more than a dozen witnesses, with testimony expected to resume tomorrow morning. Marisol Villarreal, Channel 5 News at 10.